So over the past 10 years, I would say from like 23 all the way up to, I'd say present day 33, is I felt like my whole life was kind of guided by this like invisible hand. And I was always just chasing a new goal, chasing a new achievement. So, at 23, I just graduated pharmacy school, and the thing I was chasing was, obviously getting a pharmacist job at a hospital, and then slowly, jumping jobs to make more money. So my goal was to make more money, and to make more money to pay off my $250,000 of student debt. So honestly, from 2013 all the way to 2017, that was my objective, was to make more money, be able to have money to buy things I wanted, be able to travel, not have to ask my parents for money, and then also pay off my huge crippling student debt. So that was my focus for the first 4 years. And after, paying off my student loans in 4 years, and then I moved up to a pharmacy director position, at that point, my focus was to now, okay, I've paid off my loans, that's off my back. I've moved up in a high position pharmacy career. So now I want to buy a house for myself, right? So I wanted to save up for a down payment house. So, it took me about 8 to 12 months to do that. And at that point, that's when I bought my first piece of property. Didn't really think much about it. And then after I bought that piece of property, I just said, okay, well, what's next, right? And then I started, listening to a lot of YouTube, a lot of podcasts, and I learned about the FIRE movement, the Financial Independence Retire Early movement, and just started reading a lot of books and started getting really into like self-education in like 2018. So basically, that's when I started on my huge education and growth journey. In 2018, I started reading a bunch of books, right? Like, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Money Mastered the Game, Think and Grow Rich, the typical self-improvement books. And what was very interesting was like I started learning new concepts, and that really got me excited that like, oh, I want to like retire early, but be able to replace my W-2 income. So at first I was just like, all right, I want to buy index funds. And if I invest like $4,000 a month in index funds, from 28 all the way up to like 40, or like, I think around 45, then I would have enough money where it would replace my W-2 income, of around $180,000 to $200,000, assuming the 7% rule, right? So take up your nest egg, whatever that is, times it by 7%, and that's how much money you can live off of, and still not touch your nest egg ideally. So that was my goal next. And then after that, I just said, well, I don't want to wait till like 45 to retire. I want to retire earlier. Like my goal was to retire at 35. So I just thought in order to retire at 35, I have to do, two options. So I was at 20 at the time. It was either A, do a business, or B, do real estate. And for me, I was like, I don't really know business. I'm not good at business at all. That's not natural to me. I know business is harder. It's just more stressful. Success rate's lower. So I just said, all right, well, let me do real estate. So, because I owned a single family home that I was living in, that I was house hacking. So I just thought, okay, like I know how to do this. So I just repeat the process again. I bought a second house that I house hacked, bought a third house that I house hacked. And at that point, it was, from 2017 all the way up to 2021, I was just like, well, like, I bought 3 properties. For the most part, my California properties, they're kind of cash flow negative because it's more of an appreciation market, not much of a cash flow market. And what I learned was like, well, I built up a lot of equity in the deals. I built up a lot of appreciation over time, a lot of forced equity, a lot of forced appreciation. So I was just like, okay, well, like this equity is a little bit lazy. If I want to retire today, I need some cash flow, right? I can't use appreciation to retire right now. So what I did was I, ironically got laid off from my W-2, did a huge cash out refinance, and all my single family homes that appreciated by like $500,000 each. So, I had about $1.5 million in appreciation in natural equity doing nothing. And I pulled out, $1 million of that when interest rates were really low. And I took that money and basically pulled it out tax-free. So now my single family homes are even more cash flow negative, right? Because now my loan's even bigger despite lowering my interest rates. And I used that $1 million to basically buy 2 apartment complexes in Oklahoma, and then my mobile home park in Alabama, because those are more cash flow markets. And I got my mobile home park for like $1 million, The 26 unit was like $500,000, and then the 20 unit was $350K. I did have to put a lot of renovation into these, but I just like, wow, these are so cheap, and they cash flow a lot more, and then they do, right? So that was kind of my next goal, basically to buy an apartment complex. And then I did buy it in 2021, right? I bought all those 3 assets listed, in the span of 8 months. So basically in 2022, to midway of 2022, all the way to end of 2023, present day today, I basically was focusing on stabilizing my assets, was focused on stabilizing my portfolio. I had to renovate these units, turn the tenants, rent it out, stabilize it, get property management, and then now I'm done, right? Like fast forward to end of 2023, all my 26 unit is rented out, my 20 units rented out, my mobile home park is sold, so about 51 of my units are rented out, so I'm at very high occupancy, and I am grossing about $50K a month. Keep in mind my single family homes are cash flow negative, but my 2 apartment complexes are grossing around $28,000 a month, and probably netting roughly around 10K a month, if you kind of do the math there. So it's crazy, right? So now the single family or the apartments are basically covering the cost of my negative cash flow for my single family homes, and now I hit the point where I'm cash flowing between $8,000 to $10,000 a month, depending on the expenses that month, and that's enough to replace my W-2 income. And now I have the point of like just pausing and reflecting, because for the past 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, I've been grinding, put my head down, working hard, and it's been, a crazy journey. And this is the first time where I can pause and be like, like, this is crazy. Like, this is the first time where I felt bored, and when you feel bored is when your mind is able to think, is when your mind is able to be more creative, is when you get more ideas and understand new possibilities. So now this is the moment where I'm kind of pausing, I'm self-reflecting, and then reevaluating what it is that I want to do, right? Like what it is that brings me the most fulfillment, and a little bit pivoting the focus back onto me, right? Because for the longest time I've been delaying gratification. I've been, putting my real estate ahead of me. I've been putting my business ahead of me. But now this is the first time where I'm putting me first and being able to do what I want. And this is the goal I wanted for real estate, right? Like, was to be able to give you options, to be free, to do what I want and live life on my terms. So that's why I sacrificed and grinded for the past 10 years to do that, and now I'm privileged to be able to teach others to do the same thing. So, overall, it's been a crazy grind for the past 10 years, but I know, looking back when I'm older, I'll thank myself, my younger self, for taking that grind, taking that stress, and really honing and developing myself. And I know that it's gonna pay dividends long term and give me a lot of advice, and it's giving me a lot of clarity. So right now I'm trying to take this pause, trying to take the boredom to really reevaluate what I want to do and what value I can add to other people. Because basically right now, my lifestyle hasn't really improved since I, obviously I replaced my W-2 income. I'm still working full time because I still need to like buy a house for myself. I still need to pay off some lines of credits. I just bought a Tesla Model Y, so now I have a car loan on that. I need to pay that off, and I need to pay off some whole life insurance policies that I invested in. So once that's all done, at that point, I'm not sure how much motivation I will have to continue working unless I'm truly passionate about pharmacy. And at that point, I'll have to take a step back and reevaluate that as well. So overall, just wanted to share my mindset over the past 10 years and what I was chasing for the past 10 years, and share the insights that I've had as I paused, as I self-reflected on what I want to do next. So hopefully you found value in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe, and post any questions down below, and I'll be happy to answer these in these 10-minute sessions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.